Winter is one of the few times a year when you can consistently find fallow deer, but it's also the time where trying to get close to them seems to fall apart the fastest. In winter, fallow tend to bunch up a lot more. You're not finding one or two, you're finding mobs. Food becomes more important, so they spend a lot longer out in the open, especially on faces, getting as much sun as they possibly can. You'll often pick them up in similar areas day after day, so finding them usually isn't the problem. But the same thing that makes them easier to locate makes them much harder to approach. Those winter mobs change the way you have to move. There's always something in that group that's not as relaxed as the rest. Even when most are feeding, there's always one or two that are just kind of switched on. And in winter, when feed matters most, they don't always leave straight away, but they don't ignore things either. They don't need to panic, they just need to notice you. And once one notices you, the rest don't take long to follow. It's happened to me more times than I can count. I'll be stalking in on a seemingly relaxed mob, thinking I'm going to get a shot at any moment. Only to notice a deer on the fringes has been watching me the whole time and blows out, taking the whole mob with them. One of the more consistent things in winter is how they feed. They'll often feed in a slow drift, not covering ground quickly, but not staying still either. You can watch a mob for a while and start to get a feel of where they're likely going to move to next. And that movement can either help you or completely shut you down. If you try to force a straight line stalk, you can end up where they're about to be rather than where they are right now. The stalk on this buck, I tried to force a straight line and ended up paying the price of spooking him before I was even in range. While this one, I stalked to where I thought he was going to end up feeding and ended up getting a perfect shot opportunity. Winter strips a lot of cover back, so where you move becomes more important than how fast you move. You're relying more on terrain, little folds, shadows, changes in elevation. Even small bits of ground can keep you hidden if you stay disciplined in how you move through them. And sometimes that means slowing things right down when you feel like you should be closing distance. Winter gives you small windows where everything settles just enough. When they're properly feeding, heads down, moving steadily, you can get away with a bit more. Not much, but enough. The hard part is recognizing it early enough to act on it. If you hesitate or second guess it, that window usually closes pretty quickly. Even in winter, when it feels a bit more predictable, everything can still fall apart without much warning. One head comes up without warning, or you're moving through a patch where you're more exposed than you thought, and everything starts to unravel from there. Winter helps you find fallow deer more consistently, but it also puts a lot of pressure on how you approach them. There's less room for error and more eyes picking things apart. Most of the time, it comes down to how you handle those last quiet moments when you're close enough for it to matter.